The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Good evening and welcome to Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Julian Luke and Kevin Newell, right here on Reality Radio 101. To contact us live this evening, dial 905-725-1907. Toll free anywhere in North America, 1-866-905-7325. Worldwide, 1-866-656-5477. Email us right now in Studio 101 at gmail.com. And now, right to your hosts of Canadian Cigar Scene, Kevin and Julian.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Canadian Cigar Scene. Got my compadre here, Julian.
How's it going? Doing all right?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing fine.
Weather's here.
Oh, my God. It's golfing weather, and we haven't been out yet. How sad is that?
We suck, eh?
I know.
No golfing.
I know.
A guy come into the shop today, and he says, how's your game? I was like, he looked at me like I was an idiot,
I talked to Gene yesterday, and that's all he does is golf. He says he doesn't work much anymore. He just golfs.
That sucks,
and he sends pictures of places like Bond Head where he's golfing.
What a jack.
Gene, I hate you.
Hey, did you see me air drumming there, Gary? If you're ever looking for a drummer there, boom.
Yeah, it might be. You never know. I'm working with a young man right now.
That's not a vote of confidence there, is it? No. I guess it's a little different when you get in front of the kit.
Yeah, that's true.
Is that what they call it these days?
Yeah, the kit, man.
Hey, see? I got the lingo down.
You got it.
You need a roadie?
Yeah, I will.
I'm the man.
It pays well, though.
I'm the man.
All right. Because I don't want to lift that crap.
Lifting?
Yeah, right.
Wow, looking through the stats of listeners. Wow, we're every week is just a spike every week. Canadians are listening in droves. Argentinians, Brazilians, Chileans. Wow, Costa Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, El Salvadorians. Is that right? Dominicans, Hondurans, Mexicans, Turkians.
Turkmens. Turkmenians?
I don't know.
Turkeys.
And the folks in the States, thanks everybody for listening into our banter and our whatever we call it. But what do we do this for, Ju?
This is all about education. We're just making sure that people in Canada understand what's happening on the Canadian cigar scene. And, you did a shout-out to the Americans. We should say to everybody, we were thinking of you guys yesterday on Memorial Day. That's a big event, and us up here in Canada, we really respect all that the troops have done.
Hear to you folks. Even having David Blanco in a couple of weeks ago, and somebody emailing from somewhere, I think it was in England. Ireland, yeah, that was just insane. That was awesome. Yeah. So good on you folks. Tonight we're just going to sort of have some banter, just yuck it up, do some listener emails, and you know what? It's not very often where we just sort of sit around and shoot the shit, as they say, right?
Well, and there's been a lot of stuff happening in the media that's kind of necessitated this too, because this is kind of like the Great and Powerful Oz show, where we're going to pull back the curtain and talk a little bit about some of the behind the scenes stuff that people may not be aware of with respect to Canada and cigars.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the Costco fight in the park.
Wasn't that beautiful? That was unbelievable.
What the hell goes on there, man?
I know.
Jesus. Fights in the parking lots. And yeah, it's crazy.
They would have made up over a jumbo tub of cookies later.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, the Raptors, I mean, they had a good run. They're done now.
Yes.
But, hey, you know what? Good on them. They had a terrific season this year. Congrats to them. You know, next year, hey, pick up a big player and they could be there next year, right?
Now it's the Jays, man.
That's right. Hey, you know, a lot of people, when they come into the shop, they're really... They look at the, you know, they say, oh, I can get that cigar in the United States for such and such a price. How many times have we heard it, eh? It's such
and every time you just want to clack their head against the wall.
Because they just don't understand.
I would be saying, yeah, we'll go then.
Yeah, after $6 million in airfare. And,
yeah. Go spend $600 a drive there and then get your cigar.
That's right. But the thing is, people just don't get the whole tax structure of what goes on when a cigar goes to Canada. So I'm going to pass this over to the money man right now. Julian, would you care to field this one?
Yeah, you know, it's it all starts with crossing the border into Canada, and at that point, first off, a shipment from the United States is automatically converted to Canadian dollars. So let's say right at this point you have a $1 cigar, it immediately becomes $1.40. And at that point, the government slaps on an excise duty of 82%.
Got that, people? 82.
So that's pretty damn close to 100%. So basically the cigar is about $2.75 by now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Then you turn around and take that, and it goes to a wholesaler generally, and they're going to slap in their margin. That might take the cigar up to $3.50, somewhere in that range.
If they're good about it, I mean, if they really want to get some juice on it, you can, 35% even.
Yes, for sure. And because they got to make a living too, and they get product returns, and they got to store the product, and they've got to do all the audits and the Health Canada stuff and all that. So now we're up to a $1 cigar is already up to about $3.50.
Mm-hmm.
The provincial government then jumps off of the top turnbuckle with elbow extended. And
drum roll?
Yes, and sticks a 69% aggregate tobacco tax on for the province of Ontario.
How'd you like that, Ontarians?
So 70 points. So that's now going to add about another $2.25 to the price of the cigar. Mm-hmm. So the cigar's up to $6. That's with no retail margin in there.
Right. And I mean, we got to live too, right?
Right. So you've got a $1 cigar has become $6. So folks, you need to understand that if you thought gasoline was bad, if you walk out in Ontario and buy yourself a $40 Cohiba, there's probably about $25 in pure tax in that cigar. And the Cuban cigars are already expensive because the Cubans themselves make them expensive.
Yeah, they dictate the price.
It's a premium cigar.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 60% of the cigar price is purely taxed.
And that was on a $1 cigar, folks. So, I mean, if you have a $5, I mean, there's not a lot of $1 cigars out there in the States even. So, I mean, a $5 cigar, $6 cigar, translate that to Ontario price, and it is staggering. It just gives you an idea of, the challenges that we have in our Ontario market. And, I mean, then you go from there. I mean, as difficult as it is for us to do business in Ontario, trying to do business in the rest of Canada is even more difficult.
Yeah, like Newfoundland we talked about last week. We couldn't find a tobacconist in Newfoundland.
Why?
And a big part of that is because the taxes are far worse than they are here in Ontario. What's that favorite word you have? Egregious?
It's egregious.
It's egregious, those taxes.
What is it, 140% or something?
Yeah,
ridiculous?
it's an incredible number. Right. So whereas ours is 69.1, theirs is 140. Now it's not the same in every province either. In Alberta, it's a flat tax and
720 or 716, 780,
something like that.
Yeah.
So basically, that means that there's no such thing as a $7 or $8 cigar in Alberta because the tax alone is $7. Mm-hmm. But it also means that there aren't any $80 cigars because those cigars tend to come in at like $40 by the time I think because there's a cap on the tax.
And for somebody that would say phone a shop in Ontario from British Columbia and say, I'd like to buy some cigars off you. Can you ship them out to me? How does that work?
It doesn't work. It's absolutely.
What do you mean? It's in Canada.
It's absolutely illegal. You and I have talked about this. The government of Canada wants to have free trade with Europe, free trade with Mexico, free trade with the United States, and free trade with Japan. How about free trade with British Columbia? Mm-hmm. There is no free trade in this country. Professionals are prohibited from crossing provincial borders. You can't be an engineer in Ontario and work in Manitoba. You can't be, other professions, plumbers, a lot of skilled trades can't cross barriers. Mm-hmm. But there was this recent ruling in New Brunswick that came up that had to do with the gentleman with the alcohol. Did you see that one?
The beer in Quebec, wasn't it?
Yeah, he went to Quebec, bought 14 2-4s, and went back to New Brunswick. And New Brunswick says that that's illegal. You're only allowed to bring across the provincial borders a small amount because it's way cheaper in Quebec than in New Brunswick. They have really high liquor rates. Well, a judge in the case looked at the Constitution and said that the New Brunswick rule was unconstitutional and tossed out all charges against the guy. Now the government's appealing because they're terrified that this is going to put their liquor regulations in jeopardy. But if it puts their liquor regulations in jeopardy, it could put Ontario's too, which would be a good thing because these monopolies and cartels that the government runs,
LCBO.
Yeah, they don't allow any competition. They don't allow us to buy wines from British Columbia, from perfectly good vintners that are Canadians, but we can't support Canadian businesses.
I got to tuck them in my suitcase and hope they don't break. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's such a difficult thing to do business, and I mean as much as the Ontario government loves to push the booze and attack you if you don't like cigarettes or cigars or any premium tobacco, they make it even more difficult to do business throughout the country. And basically impossible, right?
It's impossible, and add into that what's going on with the marijuana dispensaries. I mean, they raided all those dispensaries. Those people are smoking indoors. Mm-hmm. There are shisha lounges all over the place where people are smoking indoors. But there is not a single cigar lounge. And I know we've gone from taxation to lounges now, but this is just a general bitch fest. So
absolutely,
I'm
okay with that. Gary, you okay with that? You okay, Gary?
Liberalism's a mental disorder.
There we go. Now we know the show is complete.
Yeah, we know it. So, I think if we take a look at this whole sort of concept about Toronto or being a world-class city or Ontario being world-class province, there is not a single legal cigar lounge, to my knowledge, in the province.
No.
And there's an abject failure on the part of politicians to educate themselves about the reality of premium tobacco. The fact that the vast majority of people are not regular smokers. They are extremely occasional. Mm-hmm. When we see it in our store, we have clients that we see during golf season, and we don't see them for the entire winter.
That's right. How do you explain that? It's not a habitual thing. It's a social thing. It's an enjoyment. It's not, people aren't doing this 10 times a day. It's a relaxation, and the idea of the whole concept of putting a sign up saying cigar lounge, and if you have this idea in your head that you think that there's going to be smoking in there, God forbid, and if you don't like smoke, don't go in the goddamn building then. What's wrong with that idea? It's such a simple concept.
The sheer nanny state mentality in Ontario is mind-blowing because they won't even give people the option of saying having a permit for an occasional event to celebrate, a product that is culturally is a World Heritage product. I mean, go to Nicaragua, go to Dominica, and see what these people are doing. This is a pure manifestation of culture, this industry.
Absolutely. I totally on board with that, Jew. Yeah, that's the end of the bitch fest.
No, well, I mean, the only other thing I could add to that is
I mean, where else? I mean, can you go to other? Is there other countries, other cities that you can go to in the world where there are lounges and it's legal and people aren't killing each other in the stores?
Absolutely. I ran, best cigar lounge, the best worldwide cigar lounge kind of thing, just quickly and pulled that up. Okay, so. Just to go through lists of cities that seem to think that it's permittable for their citizens. And by the way, some of these countries have very tough tobacco laws.
Very strict, yeah.
But they recognize that premium tobacco is different. They are reasonable. Club Macanudo in New York. The Davidoff Lounge in Beijing, China. The Burlington Club in Manama in Bahrain. The Tinska Bar and Books in Prague, Czechoslovakia. La Casa del Albano in Stuttgart. Cubana Cafe in Paris, the Floridita in London, England, and El Florido in Havana, Cuba. So London, England, Paris, like every country around every major city around the world, every world-class city around the world recognizes that having a cigar lounge has no major impact whatsoever on health population and is strictly something that for cognoscenti and people that really enjoy the product.
I mean, let's back up even further and go back to Montreal. I mean, how many cigar lounges are in Montreal? I know 3 for sure. I mean,
at
4.
Least 3.
There's a La Casa, Stogie's.
Yeah. Has Rafi got a lounge at his place?
I'm not sure on that, but you know what I mean. They are legal.
There's at least 3.
Lounges,
and we're under the same constitution. Why is it legal to have a lounge in Montreal and not legal to have a lounge in Ontario. It makes no sense.
These questions never get answered either.
No, and there's nobody will fess up.
Carol Chase just wrote in. Oh, hey, Carol, how you doing? Carol writes, the province of Ontario is insane regarding taxes, smoking laws, and what people can do for enjoyment. It is crazy. Vote out these politicians that want to run our lives. Carol,
amen.
The voice of reason right there. Smart like a fox. Absolutely. You know, it just...
And she brings up a great point. We do need to be more like our American brethren and actually get on these politicians. There needs to be accountability because, you know, the ironic thing, folks, all these people have made these rules for you. We're going to tell you a secret. Every one of them smokes cigars. We've had them in the shop at all levels of government, public institutions, you name it. They all preach one thing and do something completely different.
Yep. Yeah, it's a frustrating thing.
It's a frustrating thing.
Yeah, and we sit back and take it every time. Tax increases and everything else.
Yeah, we're looking for that politician that will stand up and say, you know what, it would not hurt society to allow, you know, tobacconists to have cigar lounges. Mm-hmm. How would that hurt society? It's people that are already buying the product. They know that. What's wrong with them smoking at a tobacconist as opposed to going home and smoking on their own?
That's right. You're preaching to the choir here.
Yeah,
they got to understand this whole concept, I think, and they don't. And they never. And the problem is, they never confer with us. They never talk to us, ask us questions. I was reading about today about the how they want to go to complete whiteout or blacked out packaging on tobacco products in the next 3 years. I think they want to enforce it in 3 years. So that means there'll be nothing on the outside of a cigarette pack or a cigar box or anything like that other than clear orange paper and the health warning stickers labeled God knows everywhere on the bloody thing, right? And they said that they're going to talk with store owners and see what their thoughts are on the whole thing. They won't talk to us.
It's lip service. It's a complete joke, and it's just a farce. They don't really care what we say. All they care about is being able to check a box and say, we checked with them, and then they'll just go and do whatever they want because their policy wants. Mm-hmm. They are educated like through book smarts, but they have no idea of what's right in this country. And this is the reason why Ontario is losing $2 billion to illegal gray market cigarette tax every year, because they don't do their homework and actually talk to the retailers who could tell them how to fix the problem.
I heard a radio commercial today on the way to the studio here to do the show, and it was talking about illegal contraband tobacco and how it's, you know, funding gang-related, you know, guns is what they said, and people crying, and it was a big dramatization, right? And I understand it does. I mean, that is a true fact. But what is the government doing about it?
Nothing. We've been asking them for 7 years. What are you going to do about this? Nothing. Nothing.
Yeah. It's... We're good now, eh?
Woo!
Wow, I'm looking at the time, Gary. I think maybe we should. I think we should take a little breather here, get a scotch and a cigar going, and just take a breath for a minute, okay? Everybody, you're listening to Canadian Cigar Scene on RealityRadio101.com.
I don't wanna be your hero. I don't wanna be a big man. I just wanna fight with.
Chris Lee West Indian Market has been serving the West Indian community for over 15 years. Visit their new location at 20 Harwood Avenue South, Unit 7 at Harwood and Kingston Road in Ajax. They have a wide variety of Oriental, East, and West Indian groceries, fresh fish, meat, and vegetables. Load up your cart with goodies from the island at very reasonable prices. They have weekly specials such as non-alcoholic wine at 2 bottles for $5. Visit Chris Lee West Indian Groceries at 20 Harwood Avenue South, Unit 7 at Harwood Avenue and Kingston Road in Ajax, or call them right now, 905-426-2111. That's 905-426-2111.
The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Julian Luke and Kevin Newell.
right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, dial 905-725-1907. Toll free anywhere in North America, 1-866-905-7325. Send us an email in studio101@gmail.com. And now, right back to Julian and Kevin.
Slapping the bass, Gary. Slapping the bass. You're looking for a bass guy.
You the man.
You can tell I really want in the band, eh?
Yeah, well, I wish you played bass.
Damn it. Okay, it's time to go on to some Victory Cigars events, people. So, always coughing. Get a pencil and jot these down. That was Jew. That was me doing Jew. Anyways, cigar of the week this week is a really nice cigar that we can't really mention right now.
It's the Ed Habano Toro.
We're going to die. Ed Habano, fantastic. I got to throw a thanks out to the folks, Jody and the folks out at Good Life Fitness in Bowmanville. They donated a free 3-month membership for us to give away on June 6th for any support for Fort McMurray Relief Fund. I think we're close on like $800 on that now,
nice.
which is great. So kudos to them. Our first big event of the year is June 11th, next Saturday. Not this Saturday, next Saturday, folks. We'll be celebrating the start of Euro 2016 when Polliner joins forces with another cigar company. Camacho. It's going to be an epic event. The beer will be ice cold, and the cigars will be Camacho. So it's going to be, we're calling it Mega Bowl, okay? So anybody that understands any Will Ferrell movies. Anyways, Saturday, June 18th, Penelope from Brigham will be into the shop as well. That's the week after on the Saturday. We're going to do another event then, so come in and check it out. We got some great new stuff in there in the shop for Father's Day. Some great shaving stuff, 20% off Castle & Ford's wet shave kit, travel kits, pre-shave creams and after-shave bombs, all the shave stuff for the guys. So get in there and treat your man right, okay? Absolutely.
When is that? When is Father's Day?
It's on Sunday, June 19th.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Whew. Got it for me.
That's our day, baby.
That's our day.
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's right. And just to let you know, there is a slew of new cigars in the humidor right now. A slew. And there's one brand in particular, Rocky Patel, that's staggering new prices. It's unbelievable. You know, that's not mentioning any brands or anything. It's just Rocky Patel.
But I think this is this is across the country that people are going to find that there's some unique things happen at every shop. This isn't just about one specific shop.
Yeah, kudos to the boys at Cretek as well for that. They've really stepped up to the plate on that. Cigar Scene Happenings, over to you, Jew.
Okay, June 7th, don't forget, Walper Tobacco is going to be celebrating 125 years in Kitchener.
Peter.
June 16th, Cigar Studio, Jerry, our good friend, celebrating 20 years in Toronto.
Good boy, Jerry.
June 22nd, I understand that Trey has an event at Smoke and Cigar on Bayview. Not sure what the event is.
Alan Rubin's going to be in there.
I think that's right. Yeah. Alan Rubin's going to be there, so you might want to contact Trey and find out. Smokeandcigar.com if you want to find the place. We'd like to do a shout-out to Sheffield & Sons Tobacconists in Winnipeg, Manitoba. If you're traveling to the city of Winnipeg this summer, head on over to City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue at Hargrave Street. Sheffield & Sons Tobacconists, walk-in humidor, pipes, all that kind of stuff. A couple of cigar scene happenings close to home. Congratulations to, officially, Dr. Michael Reed. Woo! It's been a long time coming, baby. That baby took a long time to be born. I thought that one was stuck in the canal, but boy, she came out in the end.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations on your PhD, Mike.
Doctor.
And congratulations to Tamara Stevenson, who celebrated her anniversary, or the anniversary of her engagement yesterday on her own, because her husband Ryan was selfishly playing poker with us. And even when it was pointed out to him that he should have gone home and stayed with his wife, oh boy,
let's play another game. Who won all those games?
Kidding you, kids. Yeah, you won all those games. You did.
Yeah,
all right.
Last night.
Let's carry on.
Hey, you know what? It happens all the time. Someone comes in, my lighter's pooched, and I don't know if we've answered this question before, but let's get this out in the open. Somebody says, "How do you bleed a lighter, and why are you bleeding a lighter?" It's 9 times out of 10 is the issue is there's an airlock in your lighter. Okay, so what you need to do, flip your lighter upside down, and where you put the butane into the little hole there, you'll see a little pin in there. Okay, take a little screwdriver, push down on that pin, and you'll see how much air comes out. It's amazing how much air gets trapped in there. That'll allow a lot more butane to get into the lighter. People, do the bleeding, okay, before you refill that lighter, okay? Always important. And use good butane, too. Most of the stuff that comes out of England seems to be the best stuff right now.
Yeah.
It's usually 18 to 20 parts per million of impurities. So look for near zero impurities on your. We sell a lot of Cigar, Calibre, stuff like that. So I mean that's the good stuff.
And I learned the hard way that although the nib of a pen fits really well, it's not a good idea to have all that gas shooting up inside the pen, especially if it's him. Akil at Sleuth and Statesman loves it when you do that with a Mont Blanc.
Oh. God.
Go into a store and ask to borrow a pen and then bleed a lighter with it.
You get ink all over your hands. Everybody, I've done it. I don't know, man. Just a pain. I've had this email about 4 or 5 times, and I've got this one from James. Whoa, sugar! my chair just went down. Gary's pissing himself. James in James Bay is always asking me. He's asking about wrapper leaf, okay, and how much wrapper leaf has to do with accentuates the flavor of the cigar, and it always goes back to. I always bring that back to Jose Blanco. I mean, does wrapper leaf have a lot to do with the flavor of the cigar?
Absolutely. It does. I just tell people smoke a Lancero.
Yeah, absolutely, because you know what, We do a blending seminar with Jose, and you have a cigar that has 4 different wrapper leaves on it, and you go through each section and you talk about what you're tasting and the flavors, and you would not believe that the flavor changes throughout the cigar with each different type of, whether it's a Habano, Ecuadorian, sun-grown, Maduro, San Andres Maduro, or and it's just amazing the different flavor profiles that each of those wrapper leaves have. And typically Robusto size, Toro size, or smaller. Corona, Lancero. Those are the smaller ring gauges. Really accentuate the wrapper leaf flavor. So ask your tobacconist about what type of wrapper leaf and what sort of flavor profiles they have. It's very important for people to know what's going on, and your tobacconist will be able to educate you on what's going on there.
Yeah, and people should pay attention to where wrapper leaf is coming from, because a lot of people are familiar with Connecticut and Connecticut shade, but man, it seems like Ecuador and Mexico right now, like not that which are not two of the sort of top cigar producing countries, but Ecuador and Mexico are rocking the world of wrapper leaf right now.
Oh, absolutely. Roberto Palaio's got a place in Ecuador. They're just bumping.
And our friend Alejandro Torrent in the San Andreas in Mexico.
Well, what is it? Alejandro he's the largest tobacco growing family in the world.
Yeah.
They have a big family down there. Don't get me wrong, but by the same token, they're doing wrapper leaf from everybody from Padron, Oliva, Perdón. You name it. They're doing it for them, and it really is terrific stuff. I'm not sure even Davidoff's using some of their stuff. They might be. So.
All right, great question from Paula right now. Hey, guys, when weed is totally legal in Canada, will you carry it?
No, but we'll smoke it.
Well, she brings up a great point. They talk about the LCBO as being the natural place to park sales of legalized marijuana. Yet there are 55 tobacconists in Ontario that have far more stringent carding policies than any LCBO store. Kids can walk into an LCBO store and walk all around all they want and don't get carded until they get to the cash. When you walk into a tobacconist in Ontario, the expectation is that you'll be carded within the first 30 seconds.
It'll be a far more mature and proper way to present the product to people,
specialized. Like we, if in its bud form, marijuana is going to need to be properly hydrated and maintained. Mm-hmm. And again, tobacconists, we're used to product humidification. Right. I don't think that enters into the lexicon of the people at the LCBO.
They don't have a clue.
No,
they don't have a clue. Thanks for the question, Paul. God knows when this all is all going to shake down, but.
Yeah.
I fear for the province.
Oh, I know. They don't know what they're doing, and it just irks me to no end that, harping back on the cigar lounges again, that they've been allowing people to smoke weed wherever they want, but God forbid somebody smoke a cigar somewhere, which is has a far greater likelihood of being a premium pure product. God knows where half the weed's coming from right now. It could be coming from anywhere.
And I've never known of a person that's got in a car with a cigar that's just smoked a cigar and gone out and plowed down 12 people or got in a major car accident because of what they smoked. So
yeah, and it was this was an appropriate topic to bring up because 10 years ago there was a story in this week's Star on Sunday, May 29th by Joseph Hall. He wrote an excellent article. And he wrote about May 30th in 2006, exactly 10 years ago yesterday. They had what was called the last big smoke at the Drake Hotel in Toronto because all of the cigar smokers were got together. The legislation was going to pass the next day to outlaw smoking on patios. So they all got together and had one last sort of, event. And it's still regarded as a legendary event. Mm-hmm. They did an interview with a gentleman named Perry Delente. I apologize, Perry, if I mispronounce your last name. Perry raises some excellent points. He says, there's complete hypocrisy of the Ontario government. They'll sell cigars gladly, collect huge tax revenues, and yet tell people, don't you dare smoke them anywhere. And I love that. I love that quote from him.
Makes no sense, does it?
No, it doesn't make any sense.
People often ask me, how do you choose the cigar that you've decided to smoke? Why did you choose that cigar? I mean, whether it's during the breakfast, after lunch, after a great steak dinner, why do you specifically choose a certain cigar? And I think that basically, most of the time it always comes down to the amount of time that you have. I always say to I have people come in all the time and say, I don't want to get too expensive of a cigar because I only smoke half of it. And I say, well, why do you only smoke half of it? And they say, well, I ran out of time, or it was just too much for me. I said, well, what size of cigar are you smoking? And they'll say, oh, I was smoking a Toro, or I was smoking a Robusto. I said, well, I tell you what, why don't you just try a Petite Corona, something like that, something more along the lines of what you can enjoy the entire cigar with. The amount of time that you have. Look at the size of the cigar and say, if I've got a half an hour, I'm going to smoke this size. If I got an hour, I'm going to smoke this size. I always equate a cigar to a CD or an album. Okay, the cigar was made to enjoy the whole thing in its entirety, just like an album was. It's not meant to be. You tweak out track 2, track 7, and track 12. You don't listen to the first 3 songs and that's it, and put it away. There's a story to be told throughout the whole album, just like there is with a cigar, and it's meant to be enjoyed through its entirety. So try and pick something that you enjoy. You can enjoy the whole thing, for starters.
Yeah, I think it's good advice.
Yeah, absolutely. I always, it's very important to go. Obviously, we smoke quite a few cigars. I mean, you always try and go with a light cigar in the morning. Depending if what type of coffee you're having or a tea or what have you. But, I don't know. It's very, people get wrapped up in, what they're smoking all the time. And you know what? Always try stuff new. It's always important to try something new as well. I always have people come in and grab the same thing. And I'm saying, hey, not this time. Try something different. It's very important. It's like going and drinking the same wine for the rest of your life. Would you think of doing that, or eating the same food, you get sick of you
want to shake it up every
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very important for people to choose the cigar that you can smoke the entire thing, take the time, and mix it up a little bit, okay?
So what else we got happening?
I think that's about it, Jew. I'm looking at the time, and man, oh man, we could go on and on.
God.
But I know.
The Atomic Ballroom is going to be coming up shortly, so we better wind this up.
I think so, Jew. Thanks again, everybody, for your emails and your calls into the show. It really means a lot to us that people are listening and enjoying the stuff. So, we get a lot of emails. Don't get discouraged if we didn't answer your emails, okay? We'll try and get to them sooner or later. I'm not sure who we got on the show next week.
I think at the moment we are TBA.
Oh,
to
really?
be announced. Yeah, we got a couple of balls up in the air, but we haven't heard back from the potential guests, so it's going to be the surprise show.
Okay. Maybe we'll have Gary on. Gary's gone. Oh, shit.
No,
What do we do? So don't forget, people. Next Saturday, get to the shop. We got a great event coming up. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody. You're listening to Canadian Cigar Scene on Reality Radio. You know our email. You know our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and all that good stuff. So thank you very much. And it's time to go and.
You know what?
Wait for Gary.
Yeah,
because I think Gary is incommunicado.
Yeah, no, we got a couple of other things we could still mention here. That
don't forget there's 3 new Alec Bradley cigars that just came in 10 packs in the shop as well. Boxes of 10 for Father's Day. Really great pricing too, and a new size in the black market comes in a Figurado or a Perfecto as well. I've smoked it, and I'm not going to say anything about it.
Right. And over the next few weeks, we're going to be getting ready for the big annual trade show, which is in Las Vegas this year, where we will see all the cigar manufacturers. I had a gentleman come into the shop last week and say he likes a cigar called the Warlock. Can you find out more about it? Can you find out if somebody could bring it into the country for me? I'd prefer to buy it in Canada than, have to drive into the States. So if listeners have cigars that they'd like to see in Canada, feel free to shoot us an email. We'll pass it on to our contacts that we know do importation, and maybe we can make something wonderful happen.
And not just that, accessories as well. I mean, there's a lot of accessory people out there that might see some new things, or we can have a look and see if there's something that you've seen, a new cutter or a new type of lighter or what have you, some sort of new gadget in the cigar realm. Give us a shout and let us know, and we'll have a boo for you. Okay.
All right.
What do you think?
We're good.
I think it is time. Gary, you ready? Gary? He's back, baby. It is time to have a cigar.
Thank you for listening to Canadian Cigar Scene with your hosts Kevin Newell and Julian Luke right here on Reality Radio 101.